What do you call a man who doesn't sing the loudest, doesn't dance the hardest, and rarely takes the spotlight? Yet somehow, he's the heartbeat of Afrobeats. A man whose laughter is as famous as his music, and whose vision has turned unknown talents into global superstars. You call him Don Jazzy. He's the man behind the soundtracks of a generation, a producer, singer, businessman, and a quiet genius who turned Nigerian music into a global powerhouse. From the noisy streets of Ajegunle to the heart of London's underground music scenes, to building not one but two legendary record labels, Mohits and Mavin Records, Don Jazzy has always been 10 steps ahead. But here's the twist. While other stars shine in front of the camera, Don Jazzy shines behind it. He doesn't crave the spotlight. Instead, he builds it and then hands it over to others. Without him, there would not be one day cool breakout, no Tiwa Savage dominance, no Rema, Ira Star, or even the new wave of Afrobeat artists who are conquering the Billboard charts today. Yet Don Jazzy's story is more than just music. It's about humility in the face of fame, laughter in the middle of struggle, and vision that saw the future before anyone else. So today we are diving deep, from his childhood days, strumming a guitar in church, to crafting hits that made Africa dance, to becoming one of the most respected music moguls on the continent. This is the life and legacy of Don Jazzy, the Don of Afrobeats. The story of Don Jazzy began long before he became a global music icon. He was born Michael Collins Ajere on November 26, 1982 in Umuahia, Abia State, Nigeria. His family blended two rich cultures, his father from Isoko ethnic group in Delta State and his mother from the Igbo people of Abia. From an early age, Michael's home was filled with music, discipline and creativity. His father loved music and exposed him to different sounds, while his mother, an Igbo princess, taught him resilience, humility, and the importance of balancing tradition with ambition. Shortly after his birth, their family moved to Ajegunle, Lagos, a neighborhood known for both its struggles and its energy. Life there was tough, but it was also full of creativity and rhythm. Michael grew up surrounded by challenges of poverty, but he also saw how music could bring joy and hope to people. This environment shaped him, teaching him resilience and giving him a deep understanding of what ordinary Nigerians felt, a perspective that would later show in his music, which was both entertaining and also meaningful. By the age of 12, Michael's music talent was clear. While other kids focused on football or games, he was drawn to instruments, learning to play the bass guitar and piano, often practicing for hours. His first studio was the church, where he honed his skills in harmony, rhythm, and discipline. At home, he listened to Nigerian legends like King Sunny Ade, Fela Kuti, and Onyeka Onwenu, and sneaked in global artists like Michael Jackson and Dr. Dre. These influences would shape his sound, teaching him the power of rhythm, storytelling. Michael's childhood was also marked by his humor, playfulness, and vision. Despite financial struggles, he was determined to master music rather than chase fame. His father encouraged him, guiding his creativity, while his mother emphasized faith and humility. The mix of his family's support, Ajegunle's vibrant energy, and his exposure to both African and Western music created the perfect foundation. Looking back, it was clear that Don Jazzy was being shaped not just to make music, but also to build a movement. From a young boy experimenting with guitar and piano, the seeds of a legend were planted in one of Lagos' most unlikely neighborhoods. After finishing secondary school in Nigeria, Michael's life took a sharp turn. Like many Nigerian families with hopes of better opportunities, his family moved to London in the early 2000s. At this point, Michael was no longer just the church guitarist or the family funny boy from Ajegunle. He was chasing something bigger. But life in London was not the glamorous pictures and many images you would see on TV. London was cold, fast-paced, and expensive. Michael, who would later become Don Jazzy, suddenly had to hustle in ways he had never done before. His first job wasn't in a studio, it was in McDonald's, where he worked as a security guard and a part-time cleaner. Many nights, he would mop floors or stand in a corner protecting the restaurant. But in his mind, he was already building beats, hearing rhythms, and dreaming of the day people will dance to his sound. Still, London gave him exposure. It was here that he discovered the underground music culture, which was garage, grime, hip-hop and R&B, that was shaping the UK scene at the time. He saw how producers and DJs controlled the vibe of an entire room without ever holding the microphone. That was powerful. Michael also began learning about digital music production. He had always been an instrumentalist, but in London, he started experimenting with beat-making software. Back then, tools like Fruity Loops, now FL Studio, were opening new doors for young producers, and Michael jumped right in. He didn't have money for fancy gear, so he borrowed equipment and worked odd jobs to pay for studio time. Every penny saved went into music. The nickname Don Jazzy was born here. Friends call him Don because of his natural leadership and respect within their circle, and Jazzy because of his smooth musical personality. But Don Jazzy's London hustle wasn't just about survival. It was about connections. He met a fellow Nigerian artist, D'banj, who was also trying to break into the music scene. The two clicked immediately. Don Jazzy had the beats, D'banj had the charisma. Together, they began experimenting in small studios, creating a sound that was proudly Nigerian, but polished enough to compete globally. At this stage, nobody could have predicted what was coming, but the seeds of More Hits, the label that would change Nigerian music forever, were being planted right there in London. Don Jazzy and D'banj returned to Nigeria around 2004. The Nigerian music industry was turning at that point. Local music was growing, but it lacked the polish and structure of pop. Don Jazzy and D'banj came with a new formula: infectious beats, catchy lyrics, and showmanship. They launched Mavin Records. The first album they worked on was D'banj's No Long Thing, which was released in 2005. The album was an instant hit, powered by songs like Tongolo that took over the airwaves. People were captivated by D'banj's humor and charisma. But behind the scenes, Don Jazzy was the silent engine, building beats that blended African rhythms with modern production. Then came the legendary album Rundown Funk, which was released in 2006. It cemented D'banj as a star and Don Jazzy as a producer to be reckoned with. But More Hits wasn't just D'banj. Don Jazzy had an eye for talent. He signed and developed artists like Wande Cool, Dr. Seed, The Prince, and K-Switch. Each artist brought something unique, but Don Jazzy tied them together with a sound that was fresh, fun, and addictive. The game changer was Wande Cool's Motion 2 More Hits, which was released in 2008. Till today, Many fans call it one of the greatest Nigerian albums ever made. Songs like You Bad, Ololufe, and Bumper to Bumper showed how Don Jazzy could craft his style in hits that weren't just danceable, they were timeless. During the More Hits years, Don Jazzy became known for his signature production style, heavy bass line, playful rhythms, and the famous producer tag, "It's Don Jazzy again." That phrase became a seal of quality. If you heard it, you knew the song was about to be a hit. But Don Jazzy wasn't just producing beats, he was creating a culture. More Hits wasn't just a record label, it was a movement. Their songs played in every club, wedding, and street corners. Don Jazzy's playful personality combined with his business vision made More Hits the #1 record label in Nigeria. And in 2009, More Hits was no longer just a Nigerian brand. They were reaching international stages. D'banj and Don Jazzy even caught the attention of American rapper Kanye West, who signed D'banj to his Good Music label in 2011. Suddenly, Afrobeat was on the world map, and Don Jazzy's fingerprints were all over it. But success brought challenges. As More Hits grew, tension started to appear, especially between Don Jazzy and D'banj, who had different visions for the future. But before the cracks showed, More Hits had already laid the foundation for what we now call Afrobeats global takeover. When More Hits collapsed in 2012, many thought Don Jazzy's career would slow down. After all, More Hits wasn't just a label, it was a movement, a cultural force, so losing it felt like the end of an era. But Don Jazzy wasn't just the type to sulk for long. Instead, he turned the breakup into an opportunity for reinvention. Just months later, he announced a new empire, Mavin Records. The name itself meant something powerful. Mavin stands for a genius, someone who's exceptionally talented. Don Jazzy wasn't just starting another label, he was creating a brand of excellence. The early Mavin lineup included familiar faces like Dr. Seed, The Prince, and Wande Coal, and they also brought in a new talent like Tiwa Savage, who had just returned from the US with dreams of conquering Afrobeat. This was a masterstroke. Tiwa Savage became the first lady of Mavin Records, and her blend of Afrobeat and R&B gave the label a fresh identity. In 2012, Don Jazzy released the all-star compilation album, which was named Solar Plexus. It introduced Mavin to the world. In 2012, Don Jazzy released the all-star compilation album titled Solar Plexus, introducing the world to Mavin's sound. Though the project had mixed reviews, it sent one clear message: Don Jazzy was here to stay. He was not defined by More Hits. He was bigger than any one label. From there, Mavin began dropping back-to-back hits. Tiwa Savage became a household name with songs like Eminado and Kele Kele Love. Dr. Seed gave us Surulere, a timeless anthem about patience and perseverance. The Prince delivered club bangers like Take Banana. And in 2014, Don Jazzy gave us one of the biggest African hits of the decade, titled Dorobuche. Dorobuche wasn't just a song, it was a cultural movement. The word itself meant nothing, but it meant everything. It became slang, a joke, a brand, a unifier. Everyone, from school kids to corporate CEOs, was calling themselves Dorobuchi. This was Don Jazzy's genius, making music that wasn't just consumed, but lived. Mavin became the #1 record label in Africa, but Don Jazzy wasn't done yet. In the late 2010s, he began investing in the new wave of Afrobeats. He signed Ricardo Banks, Corredo Bello, Dija, Johnny Drill, Ladipo, Rema, and Ira Star. Each artist had a different sound, but Don Jazzy gave them freedom, creative freedom, while guiding their careers with his wisdom. It's no exaggeration to say that Mavin shaped the sound of Afrobeats in the 2010s and 2020s. Don Jazzy is not just running a label, he's running a talent factory. Even after 2 decades in the game, Don Jazzy hasn't slowed down. If anything, he has become even more innovative, influential, and forward-thinking. Today, he operates not just as a producer, but as a CEO, a mentor, and a digital strategist, a full-blown mogul shaping the future of African entertainment. At the heart of his current work is Mavin Global, the evolved version of Mavin Records. The label recently secured major global partnerships, including investment from Panda Holdings and TGP, a move that has transformed it into one of Africa's most valuable entertainment companies. Mavin Records now include artist development, publishing, distribution, and content creation, positioning it as Africa's version of Universal Music or Def Jam Records. Don Jazzy continues to guide his artists with a fatherly touch, often calling them his Mavin family. He actively mentors stars like Rema and Ira Star, both of whom have gone on to dominate international charts and stages. Rema's Calm Down song, which became one of the most streamed Afrobeat songs in history, is a direct reflection of Don Jazzy's strategic genius. Beyond music, Don Jazzy has become one of the most influential digital figures in Africa. His humor, transparency, and authenticity on social media have made him a beloved public figure. He uses his platform to promote young creatives, share advice, and connect directly with fans. He's also ventured into tech, films, brand partnerships, collaborating with companies like MTN, Hantech, and VBank, while quietly investing in startups and media ventures. His focus is clear: building a sustainable and creative industry that gives back to the next generation. As of today, Don Jazzy remains one of the most respected voices in Afrobeats, both as a creator and as a business leader. He's not just making music anymore, he's building legacies. When you trace his path, Don Jazzy's story reveals far more than raw talent. It shines as a journey built on vision, consistency, and purpose. From humble beginnings in Ajegunle to becoming one of Afrobeat's most powerful figures, he hasn't just collected trophies, he has shaped an entire movement, built a family of stars, and redefined what success looks like in African music. Don Jazzy's rise began with Mavin Records, a label he co-founded with D'banj in the early 2000s. That partnership didn't just make hits, it shifted the soundscape of Nigeria. Under his creative directions, songs like Dongolo, Suddenly, Booty Call, Why Me, and Oliver Twist became era-defining records. Oliver Twist even crossed borders, breaking into the UK top 10 charts and paving the way for Afrobeats on the global stage, long before the genre became mainstream. It was a landmark moment, proof that African music would thrive internationally without losing its authenticity and identity.
I have a confession, don't take it personal. I have a confession, so you gotta listen. I have a confession, don't take it personal. I have a confession, so you gotta listen.
After more hits ended, many thought the magic might fade, but Don Jazzy proved otherwise. In 2012, he launched Mavin Records, which quickly became Africa's most successful and consistent music label. Through Mavin, he built a reputation that not only discovered but nurtured artists into global superstars. Names like Tiwa Savage, Ricardo Banks, Corredo Bello, Rema, Pyrestar, Ladipo, Johnny Drill, Crayon, and Boy Spice all bear his creative fingerprints. He didn't just produce songs for them, he mentored, guided, and crafted their brands, ensuring each artist carried their own unique sound and story. His achievements stretched far beyond the studio. Don Jazzy's shelves are lined with awards, recognizing his brilliance and leadership. Producer of the Year at the Headies and Nigerian Music Awards, special recognition from MTV Africa, City People Entertainment Awards, and numerous BET and Channel O honors. In 2020, he was listed amongst Africa's most influential creatives, and in 2023, he was honored for his role in shaping Afrobeats into global powerhouse. Yet, when asked about his success, Don Jazzy often downplays it, focusing instead on the joy of seeing others grow. That humility has become part of his brand. Quiet excellence that speaks louder than ego. But his achievements go beyond music charts. Don Jazzy has made a name for himself as a philanthropist and a community builder. Through his social media presence, he has consistently supported young entrepreneurs, musicians, and content creators. He has given scholarships, funded creative startups, and used his massive platform to spotlight upcoming talents who might otherwise go unnoticed. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he quietly helped families in need, donating food and cash assistance across Nigeria, all without publicity. His acts of kindness have earned him respect, not just as a music mogul, but as a man of the people. He is also one of the very few African creatives who have successfully blended entertainment, business, and mentorship. Today, his legacy stands tall. His achievements cannot be measured by the number of awards or records sold, but by the lives he has touched and the industries he has transformed. Don Jazzy built more than a label. He has built a system that empowers others to dream, create, and succeed. His rhythm echoes not just in Afrobeat, but in the heartbeat of modern African pop culture. Every beat, every melody, every hit song tells a story. And in Don Jazzy's case, it tells the story of a boy who dreamed big and never stopped. From a young boy tinkering with instruments in Ajegunle, he has shown that talent paired with vision can change the world. Don Jazzy didn't just produce music, he crafted movements, built empires, and lifted a generation of artists into the spotlight. His laughter, his humility, and his relentless drive reminds us that greatness isn't about standing in front, it's about creating the stage for others to shine. His music has crossed borders, his mentorship has created stars, and his influence has left an indelible mark on African culture. Yet through it all, he remains humble, playful, and a human, a reminder that true greatness doesn't demand the spotlight, it builds it for others. Don Jazzy is more than a producer, more than a mogul, more than a legend. He is a movement, a mentor, and a heartbeat of Afrobeat. And while other songs will keep playing, his story will continue to inspire generations to come. If you love content like this, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next.